Alright, creative. So of course we're going to go ahead and start off with the blank space in Cricut Design Space. And I'm just going to go over here and hit text. And I'm just going to go ahead and type in senior. And I'm not feeling this font. I'm going to go over here and let's find something. Okay, so let's go with maximum impact, okay? So I'm going to make sure that this is selected, and I'm going to come up here and make sure the width is 10. Let's change this background. So I'm going to click off on anything, come over here where it says blank canvas. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and come up here where it says color. I'm just going to change this background just because it just kind of helps me figure out what text and stuff would look good. Okay, so this is a pretty good burgundy color and whatnot. So that's a little trick for you guys if you didn't know it. Let's change this to black for now. No, let's change it to white for now. I know I'm going to use like a silver, so this gray is going to be our substitute for silver. So we're going to go up here and let's create an offset. 0.25, no, because I don't want like this, those little marks right there. I don't want those, so I'm just gonna go up just a little bit until they're gone. Okay, so 0.264 is what we ended up with, and that looks that little space, I'll leave it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select everything, and I'm going to slice. And remember, when you slice, you can only do 2 layers at a time. And I'm slicing because I'll be using glitter HTV. And, well, I'm slicing because not all vinyl can be layered, right? And so just to eliminate any hassle, make sure this lasts as long as possible, just going to go ahead and cut out that center, right? And let's go ahead over to shapes. We're going to grab a square or any shape. Square is fine. And we're going to stretch this out because now I'm going to slice this text so that I can have 2 colors. And I think I want to slice it. Let me move this to the back. So arrange, send backward. Okay. I think I want to slice it. You know what? Redo, because I don't want this in lowercase. I want capital letters. I was like, something about this is off. Alright, caps lock on. And I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that same process I just did, y'all. And I'm going to come right back. Okay, so my offset ended up being 0.292. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And now I'm just going to go ahead and slice that. And delete the layer I don't need, which is the inside. And move that out the way and grab this one so we can go ahead and slice this. I want to try and slice it right there in the middle of this E. But not, see that little, I don't want that little piece on the end. So I guess right there. Okay. Select both layers and hit slice. Now we have 2 pieces. Yay! Go ahead and delete everything else we don't need. Okay, so I'm using like a blackish glitter right there. I'm going to go ahead and, well, this is going to stay that gray right there. And, just undo that. Alright. And this is going to be burgundy, but it'll show up on the shirt, but let me just change it like that. Okay. And I want to do something on the sleeves as well. So I'm going to go here and hit 24. Leave a little bit of a space. I made the width 10 as well. Let's go ahead. You know what? I could have, let me see. Alright, so let me go back to shapes and I'm going to slice these. Zoom out just a little bit. So I want it pretty big on the sleeve. And I left a space so I can easily slice those. But I didn't type them individually because I want the width to be 10. I hope that makes sense. Because if I typed it individually, you know, I'm not sure what the dimensions would have been. I just want to make sure the dimensions are equal. Okay, pretty much. So now I'm just going to go ahead and offset these individually. This one doesn't even have to be 0.292. It can be a little bit smaller. 0.167 looks good. Yeah. And slice. Delete what I don't need. Yep. And same process. Offset. Apply. Select both. And slice. Alright, so now that we have everything, we'll just go ahead and hit make it. Oh, you know what? Oh, let me go back because I don't believe in working with a bunch of mats, right? So we're just going to change this all to one color, the senior. Everything's going to be the same color, and I'm just going to separate it on the mat by my vinyl. Is that the same color? Because that looks a little bit different. Yeah, there we go. And the numbers can be on a different mat because I don't want any confusion. Alright, now we have everything. Just going to go ahead and hit make it. Make sure I mirror everything. I'm going to need a bigger mat for this one. Mirror that as well. Okay, now let me smooth this around on the mat so I have room to put my different color vinyls. Okay, and I mean that's another little hack. Cut out multiple colors on one mat because who has time to be loading and offloading all of these mats? Alright, so now that we have our design, everything is looking good over here. Oh, let me move these because they're going to be different colors as well. Just move it down just a little bit and I'll scoot this one over just a little bit. And however you have it positioned on your mat on the screen is how you want to go ahead and align it with your mat, your physical mat as well, right? So I'll have my main color between the 1 and no, it needs to be, you know, about basically 3 inches. This is like 1.5, etc., etc. All right. So we'll just go ahead and move on to cutting it out. So before we cut anything out with our Cricut, of course, we need to get our HTV together. And I'm using this paper trimmer to cut all my pieces out because I can't cut a straight line to save my life. And I just like to not waste any HTV, like trying to use as much HTV as possible, and cutting it, out to the precise size with my paper trimmer helps me do that. All the vinyl I'm using is from Caesar, is the Caesar brand, and of course I'll have all the specific colors or whatnot, as well as everything else I used in this video linked in the description box. And yes, I'm still putting tape on my mats because it's not that I refuse to get a new mat, but it's like if I have a roll of tape around, I'm good, you know. And for those of you who don't know, my mats aren't that sticky no more because I've had them forever. Almost as long as I've had this Cricut. I think I've only replaced my mats one time. Anyway, so, they're pretty much not sticky anymore. But, the masking tape helps hold the vinyl in place. So that's just how I roll, okay? And once everything is cut out, going to go ahead and weed it. I believe I'm going to use the inside of those letters for another project, maybe like some senior pants or whatnot. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that video or if you have any other project suggestions for me. So now I'm just going to go ahead and pre-press the Bella Canvas fleece sweatshirt that I'm using for this project. And then I'm going to fold it in half, making sure that the side seams are matching so I can get a nice crease. And that's going to help me find the center of this shirt so I can do the center of my vinyl. Just make sure everything is nice and even and lined up. For my first layer of glitter, of course, I'm just pressing it at 315 degrees for 4 seconds, and that's pretty much just enough time to tack it down. Okay, you don't want to do a full press because we are layering, and if you do a full press each time, you'll burn your vinyl, it's not going to stick, etc., etc. Okay, so same temperature, 315, but just a few seconds, just enough to tack it down. But be cautious when you're doing this because we're not giving it the full press. Sometimes the letters will come up, but if you just let it cool for like a second or two, you should be able to peel your transfer off easily. Okay, so just be mindful of that before you go ripping it off. You might rip a letter. You might rip your design up too. And of course, when you're doing the layering, make sure you're covering the vinyl every time. You don't want it to get stuck to your heat press or whatnot. Teflon sheets are cool. I just put the backing from the HTV vinyl back on it, but just make sure it's covered. And of course, on that last press, we're going to go ahead and do it for the full 10 to 15 seconds, whatever it is, because all vinyl is different. So after you're done layering everything, that last press will be for the full amount. And look how nice that is, you guys. No gaps. Everything is nice and aligned. And I believe it's from the pre-pressing. Putting the vinyl on the warm shirt, just because vinyl is always going to shrink. So putting it on the warm shirt helps minimize the shrinking. And glitter HTV doesn't shrink as much as normal HTV. But those are just a few tips, okay? So then I decided to go ahead and do something on the sleeve. And I did a pre-press on the sleeve as well. And I used the back seam of the sleeve as my guide for the middle. And then I laid 4 fingers down from the cuff on the collar, just to make sure it wasn't too low or wasn't too high. And that is how I determined what position to put my numbers. And y'all, it was at this moment right here. Well, no, it wasn't this moment. Getting ahead of myself. But I almost messed up my project, and you'll see that in a second. I am using an HTV heat press for this video because you guys know I normally use my Ricoma. So if you notice it's a little different, it's the HTV one. It's pretty cool, and it will be linked in the description box of this video as well. So here's where I almost messed up the whole project, right? So I was layering down this number so I could go ahead and do my final press. But when I pushed it under my heat press, I didn't make sure that the sleeve was smooth and straight. Like you can see right here where it bunches up, I didn't pay attention. And once I removed it, y'all, I was like, oh my gosh. You see the vinyl, because it folded, so the vinyl pressed like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I almost ruined it. But no, since it was still warm and since I didn't do the full tack down press, I was able to just peel it off. And I did have to kind of rub the sleeve on the press a few times because the more it cooled down, the harder it was to remove. So I did have to, like kind of rub the sleeve on top of the heat press a few times to be able to remove it all. But eventually I did get it all off. And I had ran out of that color vinyl, so I was like, oh my gosh. So I just cut out a burgundy piece, and I was like, you know what? I thought it would be cool to have like the mismatched colors on the sleeve. The colors, so my kids wear uniform to school. So basically, these are her school colors and the colors of the uniform that she has to wear. So it's really versatile because she can wear her white shirts, her gray shirts, her black shirts with this. That's why I chose a different color HTVs because whatever collar shirt she want to put on under the sweatshirt, it will go and she'll be super cute. But this is how everything turned out. I'm so excited. She wanted me to add the text underneath the senior, and she loves it. I love it. Congratulations to all the seniors of 2024 and beyond. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you later.